So in my last video I showed you the tarot decks that I'm using this season, but I also did want to show you some of the decks that I use all year long. And the first one is probably not going to be a surprise to some of you, and it is the Alchemical Tarot by Robert Place. Now this is the older edition. I've had this one for about 8 years and I've used it more than any other deck in my collection. You know, I really enjoy this deck. It is, as I've said before, I consider it my favorite deck. That is the backing. The artwork is beautiful, and it is an excellent deck to read for, I think, anyone at any level. Now he did make a new version, because this version is now out of print, and I will show you the newer version. Of course, I did a video on it when it came out. And this is the backing of the new version. Now this would be the 4th edition. So it's very different backing, and the coloring is very different. You know, it is more subdued, but it is more more uniform in a way, the cards with each other. It's still very beautiful. Now I noticed that I still reach for the old one a lot, and I think it's because I've had it for so long, so there's that connection, that feeling there. But they are both stunning. So the third deck I'm going to talk about is it's another Robert Place deck, and it is the Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery. You know, to me, these decks are timeless and seasonless, and, you know, I really, really like his decks. So that is the backing. Now, this deck it's more traditional than the alchemical decks. Still absolutely beautiful. Now, when he did this deck, he was drawing from the inspiration, the artistic and the philosophical inspirations from the pre-Raphaelite artists, and you can really see the influences here. I mean, that one in particular, you can see the influence from Edward Burne-Jones, which Robert mentions. I mean, it's gorgeous. And there are a few cards in here that, such as this one, where it really puts me in mind of the Tapestries of William Morris. It's really just stunning deck. Okay, so let's move on to the next deck. Okay, well, the next one here I'll talk about, it is a majors only deck, and it is called the Tarot of Sidney Syme, and I had done a video on this deck as well. Now, it is black and white deck because Sidney Syme was an illustrator during the time. It would have been the late 1800s into the early 1900s, and it was considered the golden age of illustration, and he was in an elite group of illustrators. Now, I just picked a few cards out to show you. Some of the cards are so very detailed that, you know, they're just not going to come across on the camera, so I picked some that were a little more simple. They are gorgeous, in my opinion. This is another deck where I feel so connected and so drawn to this artwork. Now, I realize I'm probably in a small group there, and that's typical, and that's fine with me. So I think the only people that would really consider this deck are people that know his work. And I like having a majors only deck. It's a great way to choose a major before you start a reading for yourself or for someone else. So yes, I just love this deck. So I had done a video recently showing some of my very private decks, and they tend towards more of the adult side of tarot art. And out of the decks I talked about in that video, there are two that I use often, and I keep them out and about all year long. The first one I've had for about 5.5 years or so, and it is the Monera, and that is a low Scarabeo deck. Now, here's the backing. This is a playful deck. It's colorful, it's sensual, and I really like those sensual elements to this deck. And I'll show you a few cards. Now, as I had mentioned previously, they, some of these adult decks, you really have to pay attention to what's going on in the cards. The more time you spend with these decks, the more you'll get to understand the language of the deck. It's not just, an easy rider wait type of read. This is the Arc de Triomphe, so a little sense of humor there. And I did want to show you the Judgment card. I really like this Judgment card. So you'll see the woman has passed. And in her passing, she is giving birth to those white doves that are ascending toward the heavens. So I think that's very unique and special. So, okay, another adult-themed deck that I use often, and it is out and about all year, is the Tarot Ephemératique. And I've had this one for about 4 years, and that is the backing. Now, this deck is, I find this to be a very special deck. This deck has a tenderness to it. It has a healing quality to it, and that sensual quality to it as well. So I really, I'm drawn to that blend of, healing and sensuality. That is, I'm a dancer and a healer, so those two for me blend together well. I'll put it that way. So I really do like this deck. And it is a good deck to read. It is, once again, you have to pay attention to what's going on in the card and the emotion that the model here is displaying. These were taken from old erotic photography from, about 100 years ago. But you'll see there are keywords there. I do find it to be a very good, accurate read, and as I said, a very healing deck in certain circumstances. So let's see. Okay, the last one I want to talk about, I wasn't sure if I should add it here because I've had it less than a year. I got it, it was either December or January, and I didn't write it down, but it is the Tarot Mucha. And I really like it, and I haven't put it away since I bought it. Here is the backing. I imagine there are a lot of videos on this deck. I have not done one specifically, but it's, it's been around for a little while now, and I'll show you a few cards. It's a very warm deck, and it's friendly, and it's very rider weight, so it is easy to read with. And I do find that the readings are excellent in this deck. I like this King of Cups, and it seems every time I pull this particular card from this deck, I get a call from a friend of mine who really embodies this card. So it's, I like it a lot, and it shows how accurate the deck can be. So it is not taken directly from Mucha's work, as you can see, but it is based on his style. And here's one more. So yes, those are my seasonless decks at this point in time. Of course, that could change, but nothing would be taken off the list. But, perhaps something will be added. Time will tell. So thanks, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.